新年を新しい NXT ウィメンズチャンピオンと共に過ごしましょう。
Hey, guys, we're here at the Paint Square Circle. We'll talk about who will be the best challengers for Giulia, who will be the best challenger to challenge Giulia for her brand new NXT Women's Championship. I'm going to go down a list and let's check it out. Let's get the lights as we come to the Paint Square Circle. NXT Women's Champion. We know that she won the championship recently, defeating Roxanne Perez. NXT New Year Evil. She's a brand new women's champion. Once again, congratulations to Giulia, right? However, since Giulia is now the champion, she needs some opponents. And I did this with Tiffany Stratton. I did it with her, and I also did it with Rhea Ripley. And speaking of which, I want to highlight this too. I think this is amazing. Not just what NXT is doing, because they always doing amazing things on NXT, but also amazing for WWE. So I think it's amazing that within a week, one calendar week, that we do have 3 brand new champions. We have Tiffany Stratton, who won the WWE Women's Championship with a Money in the Bank successful cash-in. Rhea Ripley won on the Raw Netflix debut, regaining her title. And then we have Giulia winning an NXT New Year Evil, defeating Roxanne Perez. Like I said, we're going to highlight this. Giulia, how do we book her as champion? Now, we know Giulia, I believe she's going to have a very long run with this title. I do believe that Giulia is going to have this belt for quite some time. I think she's going to have for a good minute. Very good minute. Very good minute. And with that being said, since she is going to have for a good minute, I could expect her having a title a good maybe like Roxanne. But if I had to guess how long she would have this belt, I would expect approximately maybe 6 to 12 months that Giulia holds on to the NXT Women's Championship. That's how I would see it. But we got to go over a list of opponents for Giulia. We got to do that because she needs opponents. And we got a list of women that Giulia can face. Now, before we do get into it, I do not see Roxanne regaining this title, and she could get a rematch. But since Roxanne on the way to the main roster, I'm not going to put her on this list. However, there are other women I want to add to the list. So let's go over the first opponent. First opponent we'll talk about Cora Jade. Now, Cora Jade, we know that there's some history with her and Giulia. Cora Jade is the one who initially costed Giulia her first opportunity at the NXT Women's Championship back at the CW debut at October 1st episode. She was the reason that Giulia did not win the championship back in October. She tried to screw her again at NXT New Year Evil, but she was unsuccessful in doing that, which led to Giulia becoming a brand new champion and defeating Roxanne, which was great. But expect Cora Jade to probably feud with Giulia. She's going to challenge her for a championship. After Roxanne is going to be on her way out, going to the main roster, she can have a match with her. She could make Giulia look good. She could be a first rivalry. I can see that happening. Now, do I see Cora Jade winning championship from Giulia? No, I do not. Especially the way Cora Jade been taking L's lately. I do expect Cora Jade to get her wins and finally get her due diligence and get a championship. I don't know if it's going to be an NXT Women's Championship, but it could be the NXT Women's North American Championship, however. But she will be one person to feud with Giulia. It'd be a good way to kick off Giulia's run as NXT Women's Champion. So that's one person in the bag. Let's go over a couple more. Next person in line that I do have, I've seen challenging Giulia, Kelani Jordan. Kelani Jordan is one of the best women on the roster, alongside not just Giulia and Stephanie Vaquer and Roxanne. Kalani's up there. She's one of great women talents. She's great high flying style. She could challenge um, Joy for a title. Now, Kelani, she's already been the Women's North American Champion, the inaugural Women's North American Champion. So, if she's not going to regain that title, she could be a contender for the Women's NXT Championship. Now, could she be successful in defeating Giulia? I don't see that necessarily happen either. I don't see that possibly happening. Not right now, but I do see Kelani Jordan, however, being a future NXT Women's Champion at some given point. Because Kelani, she's been on NXT for over a year, maybe close to 2 years. But she's been making her wave ever since she's been coming on the scene. So Kelani Jordan's another great competitor that could challenge Julia for the title. Let's go to another person that could be a great competitor for and be a contender for the title. Now, this woman here, she's already fought for the NXT Women's Championship, doing Roxanne Perez run, but not with Giulia. And yes, we're talking about Miss Jada Parker. Jada Parker could be another good one. Now, Jada Parker, she just got through with the feud with Lola Vice. You know, she had a win over Lola. Lola had a win over her. With that being said, she needs a feud. And I think that's why Jada Parker's off TV currently. When she do come back, I do expect Jada Parker to get in a good feud, something to push her over. And after that feud, maybe whenever that ends, or possibly if she don't go for the Women's North American Championship, she could be a next challenger for the NXT Championship again. It's just this time, like I said, she challenged Roxanne, but now she could challenge Giulia because Roxanne's no longer champion, and we know how Roxanne defeated. She defeated Jada before. Now again, Jada Parker. Do I see her? Do I see her defeating Giulia for this title? No, I do not. Do I see Jada being a future NXT Women's Champion? Yes, absolutely. Now, of course, you know, I know Jada's a little newer. She's still working on some things, getting everything together. But once she gets together, she can't be stopped. She already has the look. She already has the size. She's got to work on a few things, and I think she'll be good. But Jada Park will be definitely another good opponent to challenge Giulia for the NXT Women's Championship. Let's go over a couple more. Next person I'm going to talk about here, I'm going to talk about Lola Vice, another woman who's already challenged for the NXT Women's Championship, but during Roxanne Perez run as champion, similar to Jada Parker. Now Lola, she came very, very, very close to defeating Roxanne. But I don't know how it will go with Giulia. Her and Giulia got a good back and forth as well. Similar to Jada and Kelani, if she does not challenge or become the NXT Women's North American Champion, she could be a good contender for this NXT Women's title. I could definitely see her going at it with Giulia. Very good styles. They got good chemistry. And I could even see Lola maybe getting close. She could be the one to get close because remember, Lola Vice did win the last NXT Breakout Women's Tournament. She cashed in at Vengeance Day while I want to say Lola Vice was champion. She was unsuccessful. However, Lola Vice is definitely one of the women that I could see after Giulia becoming the NXT Women's Champion. She's one of the women I'm seeing. I know Jada and Kelani. I got them in there too. But Lola probably could win the title before both of them would. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Now she could be a good challenger as well. Now the last person I'm going to mention, I'm going to say this for last. is she has a lot of hit out of all the opponents I'm mentioning for Giulia. She has the most history with Giulia. Knows her very well in the ring, not just in NXT but before NXT. And I'm talking about Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer, she was tag team with Giulia when she first came to NXT. They, like I said, history on independent scene, Stardom, Japan, whatever the case may be. They both fought over the New Japan Women's Strong Championship that's currently held by Mercedes Moné in AEW. That's what Stephanie lost that belt to, actually. Anyway, Stephanie, as well as Lola Vice, will be a very, very good opponent for Giulia for NXT Women's Championship. And I was go far as saying this: she may be the one to defeat Giulia and defeat her for NXT Women's Championship. I could see that possibly happening with Stephanie Vaquer because they are positioning Stephanie. She's already in the NXT Women's North American Championship hunt. She's more likely going to be, she's supposed to be the number one contender for that title. I know she's going to something with Shotzi. More likely she's going to win that. She's going to challenge Fallon, and she's going to potentially win that championship. When Stephanie's finished with her run with NXT Women's North American Championship, when that run is done, and all that is settled, she's going to go for the NXT Women's Champion. And Julie's still champion, which I believe she still will be. She's going to be the next one coming after her. And she's going to be the one to beat Giulia for that title. I'm just saying, she could be the one. She could very well be the one to defeat Giulia and take the title off of her because they are building not just Giulia, Stephanie, Zarya, Stephanie, Giulia. Those are the top three women there. Now, I can see that happening. She's the one I can see very well doing that to challenge her for that belt, and it could very well be one. I would not be surprised if that's what they're going to do. I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I definitely see her being a challenger for that belt. Now, now I will say this. I'm gonna add this to as a caveat as well. I'm gonna add this as well. This will be like an honorable mention. I don't really talk about her that much because she is new. I don't talk about that much. I'll mention her. Thing about it is, I'm going to mention her now. Actually, she's actually the last person. Honorable mention. She's not a top contender right now because she's so new. I'm not taking nothing away from her, but as well as the other women I did mention, however, I did mention quite a few women here. I'm going to mention her too before we get back talking more about this. I'm going to mention one more contender because she's a little bit different than other competitors. We'll mention Zarya. Zarya be the last one. And the reason I mentioned Zarya is different than all the other women that I mentioned. She is the larger competitor. She's the a big woman. She's muscular. And for Julia's reign, she's going to need to be challenged in a way where she go and defeat a bigger competitor, similar to what Jordan Grace challenged Roxanne Perez. We need that on NXT, and Zarya is the perfect woman for that, being the larger woman, the muscular woman that could challenge Giulia for her title. Now, do I see her defeating her for it? No, I don't. Zarya needs some fuse on her belt first before she even be considered to challenge for the NXT Women's Championship. So I know she had a little partnership tag team with Soruka, and they take L's right now. But I don't see her winning that title, not right now. Maybe in the near future. But I want to mention Zarya too because she is. They're building her to be one of the staples of the NXT Women's division, as well as Stephanie and Giulia and Kelani and Lola and Jada. She's up there too. And I know there's some others I didn't mention, but everyone can be a contender for Giulia. So with that being said, Giulia, she's the brand new champion. She is going to have a very good run as champion. She did very well. Like I said, very good chemistry with Roxanne Perez, and she's been doing well in her matches. Since she's been on the scene, and I think it was a good call to have Giulia win the title now instead of winning back in October because she was so new to the NXT brand. But she did very good defeating Roxanne, and salute to her for putting that work. I know she's gonna have a great women's NXT Women's Championship run. She did very good defeating Roxanne.
Second time, Northern Light, Giulia. We have a new women's.
So yes, congratulations to Giulia once again. And those all the women I have that's going to challenge Giulia for a championship. We talk quite a bit of women. All right, guys, that's all I have of who will be the best challengers for Giulia, who will be the best women listed as in my list for her next or a potential person to beat her for the NXT Women's Championship. You guys let me know what you think. Soon, 2 videos will pop up. You guys click the links below. Until then, I will see you guys later.